If tomorrow all things were gone, I worked for all my life, I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my God above for living here today. The flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Hi, welcome to Citizen Watch, where your voice matters. So we have an interesting topic tonight, a couple topics that we're going to discuss tonight that is in regarding to Illinois, our children and parental rights. So we do have a couple guests scheduled, although I do not know if they're all going to make it. So we're going to just bring them on as they come in. We're going to kind of do a wing it situation right now for tonight's Citizen Watch, which is perfectly fine with me. But in the meantime, we have an amazing guest on right now. She is the campaign coordinator for Charlie Helmick, who is running in the 17th district for Congress. So I want everybody to kind of give it up for a really good friend of mine. She's a true patriot. She's an amazing woman. She is the queen of the Republican Party. Please welcome Jacqueline Dooley.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening. How are you today?
Good evening. I'm doing good. If you want to back up your camera a little bit, I can see, kind of move your camera. There you go. Perfect.
I made it a little closer. There we go.
Perfect. So Jacqueline Dooley, the queen of the Republican Party, she's been dubbed that by several people. And I think there's a little bit of an echo. So hold on. Let me see if I can work on that for 1 second before we start. Okay, so Jacqueline, please introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing with Charlie.
Okay, hello, my name is Jacqueline Dooley, and I'm the campaign coordinator for Helmick for Congress, 17th District. I was also the past coordinator for Curran for U.S. Senate. So this is not my first rodeo. Okay, right now I am scheduling events for Charlie. We are going to be visiting all the counties in the 17th district, introducing ourselves, signing petitions, and making everybody know who we are and what Charlie stands for. Charlie is a genuine man. He wants to represent you in the 17th district. He grew up in the 17th district. His family is here. He's a father, grandfather, and he just wants to represent you in the 17th district. He is a true conservative, and let me tell you about what he believes. Of course, he believes in term limits and lower taxes. Many of us do that, so that's not really different, okay? But he wants to reduce regulations for Congress, okay, and the government. He wants to repeal Obamacare. He believes he's a former Marine, former policeman, a good businessman. His business is in the 17th district, okay? He wants to bring back jobs to the 17th district and also to the state of Illinois. So he's a job creator. Of course, he wants better health care. And that's kind of tricky right now with all this COVID and all this pandemic. So
Absolutely.
That's something that we have to talk about.
Absolutely.
It's not something I can just say in one sentence. And of course, he wants to take care of the seniors, and he wants to improve education in the state of Illinois. And that's another deep project because My goodness. The schools are closed in Chicago. Wow.
Yes,
How are they ever going to be taught? Down.
absolutely.
We can't do this anymore. We cannot have the students be in a flip flop education. Sometimes in the class, sometimes remote. No, this is not what Illinois stands for with education. We want better education. The students can't learn this way,
You're right.
just can't.
Absolutely right. So the person he's running against, there's a lot of controversy with her. There's a lot of wish-washy back and forth. Nobody's really sure where she stands on different issues. So Charlie is running against Esther Joy King, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so if you look at Esther's platform versus Charlie's, and we're going to bring up a couple issues that I want to address tonight on the podcast, which is
Exactly.
child exploitation, parental rights, and in general, our children in the state of Illinois. So if you could describe in a sentence or two the difference between Charlie and Esther, what would they be?
Okay. Now, Esther came from Chicago. Charlie grew up in the 17th district. He knows the 17th district backwards, forwards. He traveled through the 17th district for over 25 years, meeting a lot of the residents. He's a father and a grandfather. Esther Joy is not. She is an outsider who came in. She is military, okay? And Helmick is a former Marine discharged honorably. I believe the fact that both of us want the best for our children. I'll give her that. We want the best. But Charlie understands because he wants to represent you and give the parents, all the parental rights and education. They're the final decision. They know their child firsthand better than the teachers, better than the Illinois state government too, because they raise them and they get first parental rights, not the Democrat state government or the Democrat Chicago public schools. No, they don't get the last right. The father and the mother get the last right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And
So they want the mental well-being. Now, Esther Joy, not being a parent, okay, she wants the best of the child. I'll agree with that. But Charlie understands this because he's mainly pro-family. He believes pro-family. He believes better education, and he wants the health care in the state of Illinois to improve versus with the pandemic.
absolutely. And that's a big topic when it comes to Illinois. I realize that we have an echo, and I'm not really sure how to fix that other
No,
than
I'm trying.
doing
I just
this.
turned up my volume. That's all I base. Want me to turn down my volume a little bit?
Yeah,
If it gets too
maybe.
loud, let me know.
Yeah, turn it down just a bit. I'm going to try to do it this way. Maybe it should work now. I just took my headphones out. We're just going to play it by ear with the computer mic.
Okay, I'm
Can you
turning
still
up
hear
my
me okay?
volume again.
Okay, yeah, I can
How
hear
about
you.
that?
I think that's
Is that
better.
better? Okay, maybe it was turned too loud.
Yeah, sometimes it does that. So when we're talking about our children and their education, that's been a big issue in the state of Illinois because of everything going on with the schools closing, teachers not wanting to teach, teachers getting threatened with their jobs if they don't show up in the classroom in Chicago. Okay, good. Echo is gone. Okay, that means that my headphones are the problem. Okay, so with all of the problems that are going on in Illinois with their education, I mean, it's the Democrats have slaughtered this. They have absolutely slaughtered our children's education and everything that goes into it, whether it be sex ed or critical race theory, all that gunk that they want taught in our education that we all know that Charlie Helmig does not agree with. So with if we back up a little bit to child exploitation, the reason I want to bring that topic up and I want to know what his stance on it is versus Esther Joy King's, if you know, or if you just know Charlie's stance on it, that's fine too. But when we talk about child exploitation and we talk about parental rights in the state of Illinois, one of the things that I've come to realize over doing my research and understanding where parental rights fits into the state of Illinois, whether it's, we all know it's a, okay, hold on. Nope, sorry, it's back. Went away when Jacqueline turned her volume down. Okay, hoping it still works. We'll check in a minute. So if we talk about the children of Illinois, that let's focus on that. And when we talk about that, we talk about child exploitation, human trafficking. Those are big problems in Illinois. And when I did my research, I looked it up. And the biggest problem is actually in Lake County. According to the statistics that I looked up, they have some of the highest rates. And I know that the 17th district isn't Charlie's. The Chicago, Lake County is not Charlie's district. But if he has to worry about the statistics of child exploitation and human trafficking in the state of Illinois, what is his take on that when from 2019 to 2020, there were 434 cases plus 115 plus 53 more for trafficking businesses? So if we're talking about lowering human trafficking, child exploitation and human trafficking, what's Charlie's take on that?
Well, Charlie is definitely against child trafficking, and he wants to lower it, especially in the counties that are real high, meaning Chicago, Lake County too. Of course, because that's where a lot of the child trafficking is coming from, because they're transported to the larger cities and also Lake County. So he is against that, all right? And he wants to improve all the regulations so that we know. And of course, he defends the police, because being a former policeman, he would really defend the police, does not want any of the child exploitation of that or the trafficking. Okay. He also, of course, wants to lower all the child suicides too. And there's two parts to child suicides. If you're being child, all the trafficking, but also too is with the education problems of being kind of like separated from your peers. They're going to be depressed and they're just looking at the computer 6 hours a day. The parents are going to have to cope with the depression of the child because the schools are closed. And that is bad.
It is bad. And all of us candidates are looking at that being one of the main problems. I think personally, when the union stepped in, they stepped in too far. They are now making decisions.
Overreach in the state of Illinois.
Right.
Government overreach has got to be reduced. You can't even have quality education. The education's all flip-flopped. The child trafficking is flip-flopped. We try to stop it, and then all of a sudden we get all these regulations, and then it just kind of like a revolving door. It just snowballs and gets worse and worse and worse, and then it's out of control. Look at the murders in Chicago. They're not bad. They're out of control.
Right.
We can't even stop it. How many murders in one day? We can't even count.
Right. And there's, one of my guests that was going to be on here, I don't know if he's still able to do it in the 30-minute or the hour time. but he is actually on his way to a child that needs help in Chicago. He's on the streets constantly. He's out talking to the public, to the children, to the parents, to anybody who wants help, whether it be job sources or suicides. It's a real problem in Chicago, to the point where people don't want to go to Chicago. I've seen comments on other people's posts. So, well, I'm not going to Chicago because of how bad it is. And then you have the voters that want everything separated from Chicago. And people don't realize the people in Chicago, for the most part, don't want to be separated. They want things back to the way they used to be. They're not okay with this. And, the leadership we have now, whether it be Kim Foxx or Lori Lightfoot, God help us, because neither one of them have the best interest of Illinois at all. So one of my questions about Charlie would be, let's fast forward a little bit into 2022, and let's say Charlie wins his race, I win mine. Let's say we have a different governor. I don't know who that's going to be, but we don't have Pritzker.
We hope it's Republican.
Yes.
Okay, let's put it that way. When a Republican,
right.
When a Republican governor wins.
Right. When a Republican governor wins, we can say it that way. So let's fast forward. And what is Charlie's plans to work with the other officials that are elected, whether it be governor or Senate or anybody else, that could provide a good downfall for Illinois, to where the good comes back and the bad washes away? Meaning CRT is abolished, sex ed's abolished, mandates are abolished, things like that, where we go back to the way life used to be. What is his plan for that?
Well, Charlie does want to work with the Republican governor that is going to win. Okay, the Republican U.S. Senate, might will probably win too. Okay, and Charlie and you believe in similar things. You're going to become a great team. You believe in pro-family. You've got a family. You're a mother. You're also a grandmother.
Yes, I am.
Right?
I love those boys.
It's grandfather, grandmother. You want the best for your family, pro-family. You also want your family to have the better education in Illinois.
Yes.
And also the mental well-being of your child. Because with all the education and the pandemic and the health, also trying to go to the hospitals with all this COVID stuff, the hospitals are overworked. So there's so much overreach. It's just going snowballing and a roundabout, and it's just not good. Also, the news is scaring everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The local news, national news, I'll say both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Every day, headlines, COVID this, COVID that. We can't even talk about, let's say, well, what's the weather first? We'd rather have that first than the COVID stuff. It would settle everything down.
Absolutely.
But no, just the mental well-being. They're stirring everybody up, and it's got to stop. This is 3 years with COVID. We've got to learn to live with it and do our best.
Right. And I completely agree with that. It's way out of control. The media loves to spin things out of nowhere and create chaos. And when we talk about child suicides and child neglect and child exploitation and whatnot, like we were talking about a minute ago, these are real numbers. There's 3,476,000 children, according to the Children's Families website, in the state of Illinois. Now, out of those 3 million kids, 677,000 are victims of malnutrition alone. And 61% is neglect, 10.3% is physical abuse. And the number of child fatalities increased by 60 this fiscal year in the state of Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. That's not.
Oh, it's just terrible.
That's horrible.
What I also wonder too is when the children were in school, they were fed and they were given adequate meals, good meals. Now they're staying at home, and the parents are trying to work there and do their best. Some of them are working two families, some one family. But they're all struggling. So they can't even put food on their table for their children. So now the children are going to bed hungry. Well, if they were in school, they'd be fed and at least have two meals a day. And
Right.
when at home now, flip flopping back and forth, they're going to bed hungry every night. A student cannot learn being hungry.
Absolutely not. And then you have the children that went to school to avoid abuse or neglect at home. And like that was their safe haven. So if you shut down all the schools, all those kids that are subject to abuse in their homes, whether it be mental or physical, that's ramped up. I have two friends in Chicago that constantly every day I see on Facebook, they're out dealing with the family. They're out dealing with the family. They're out dealing with the family because it's either neglect or abuse, or they're abandoned, or they're runaways, they're suicide attempts, all different kinds of things. So it's kind of like we're living in a twilight zone almost, but we're not. It's very real. And to get great leadership for 2022, we have to have people like Charlie and myself and a good Republican governor that's going to stand by the people of the state.
That is really true. What bothers me is some of the children are in the families, and there might be drug abuse. There might be, over the one of the parents is an alcoholic
Right.
or out drugs on the street. Okay, that's got to stop.
Right.
Then they're isolated and they can't leave the house. Not even to go outside. And with the weather now, frigid, they're put in their bedrooms,
Right.
isolated, and they're depressed, and they are, excuse the expression, climbing the walls. There no peer pressure, no friends, going to bed hungry. What is the student going to do? They're about going to come going all their mental well-being is going to go down. They're going to
Right.
become very depressed.
And and then on the flip side of this, when we talk, I know I brought it up, parental rights. Everybody is pretty much aware that Illinois is a woman's state, for the most part, when it comes to our courts and when it comes to children. And I kind of want to know Charlie's take on this too, where he stands on this as a father and as a grandfather. I don't know if he has daughters or sons. I haven't really looked into his whole
Yeah,
family
he's got a
dynamics.
large family.
But
He's got 5 children, and he's got I think nine grandchildren.
wow, I got two.
So he's got many.
Well,
Okay.
see, so in retrospect, how do you think Charlie will handle the issue of fathers' rights in Illinois, where there are, and it's not just fathers, it's mothers too, but it's for the majority, it is fathers, and it's a very big topic that I have stepped behind in my platform, standing up for fathers' rights and parental rights in general for the parents that actually care and that want to be a part of their child's life. But we've got a system that is $1 billion system that is raping these parents of money to fund these kids when the state's not taking care of them. They're putting them back in abused homes. They're keeping the parents away that want to be a part of their life. They're tying them up in the system. A good friend of mine, Cash Jackson, he's actually in jail right now in Arizona or Arkansas, because of Pritzker. Pritzker signed the warrant for him, and he's a father that's been fighting for rights. So where does Charlie stand on fathers' rights and parental rights in the state of Illinois? Does he agree that it should be 50-50, or where does he stand? What does he think about this?
He definitely believes in fathers' rights, because being a father and a grandfather, okay, he definitely takes the stand that fathers do have big rights. Okay, and he's also with the pro family, trying to work with the mother. So the fact that
Right.
the child It's the best well-being. If there's, let's say, a separation between the mother and the father, he would definitely kind of like defend the father, that he has the rights to see the child, to have the mental well-being, to be part of the child when the child is being raised. Because if he does not have a good role model, male role model, the child will not understand things. And that being a good male role model and a father is what he believes in. And being a Marine, okay, he would definitely bring all the, military and strong Marine and everything else like that in the works.
Absolutely. And that's kind of where I stand on my platform. I didn't realize we had so many similarities. Helmut and I have a lot of similarities. So,
Yes,
and
very
that's
well. You're
important.
both good Republicans.
Well, we're both true patriot Republicans, that's for sure.
Yes, true. Yeah,
So,
true patriots.
and as this election turns, and we're getting ready for signatures, we all are. So we're getting to where we can get on the ballot in June and have a chance to go through primary and whatnot. Um, do you know where Charlie Helmick stands on for endorsements from bigger people such as Trump or anywhere else like that? Has he reached out to him for his endorsement, or how's that going?
Yes, he's reaching out for endorsements. He's been endorsed by Bill Albrecht, and he is from Iowa, a five-star Silver Star retiree from the Army. He has written a couple books, Abandoned from Hell, Fire Kate, and everything else like that. So
Okay.
he's been endorsed by that. He's hoping to be endorsed by other good Republican patriots. Okay, he is in contact with Gary Rabine. He's in contact with Bailey, J. Christopher Roper. He is also having podcasts with the Republican governors. You can listen to them. He is talking to all the Republican governors because he's not sure which Republican governor is going to win, but
Right.
hoping that he wants to get to know all of them and work with them because that's the only way to make the state of Illinois and the 17th district better. He wants to reach over with the governors and work with the governors because he wants to work with them in Congress to bring back jobs, to make Illinois better, to make the 17th district better in all attributes.
Now, is the 17th district, does that include Peoria or no?
Well, yes, it includes parts of Peoria. I could tell you about the new map. The 17th district has been remapped like all the districts in the state of Illinois. I mean, everyone's been remapped. Okay, the 17th district follows the Mississippi River. Okay, on the west side of the state of Illinois. It includes all of Rock Island County, a little bit of Mercer County, some of Henry County. Now, Whiteside is split. 17th district, then it goes into 16th district. You're also going up to Carroll County. Carroll County is also split. Okay, it goes the 17th along the Mississippi, and then it's divided, and so it would go back to the 16th because that's what happened when you lost one congressional seat. We also reach over to Peoria, so it would go from Rock Island County, then it would go parts of Whiteside, parts of Peoria County, most of Peoria County, but then we go to the 16th district with Tazewell. Then, okay, so Tazewell is split, and you know Tazewell better than I do. It's split between the 16th and 17th. The southern part of Tazewell is the 17th. We also have McLean, and that's Bloomington, Normal, where the university is.
Right.
Bloomington Normal is the 17th because it's the southern part, okay, next kind of borders with Tazewell. And that's how that is. Okay. We also have enlarged Knox County, all of Knox County. We then travel down to Macomb, and we have a little bit of Macomb too. So it's a lot larger district, and that's why all the counties are split.
Yeah,
All
they did a
divided.
good job of
They
crushing
really
the
did.
state of
They
Illinois
divided
with the
everything.
they did, and they it's really weird. I think we share a district, or did share a district with by Moline for a little while.
Mhm.
So it's really weird of how far the distance is, and I don't know what they did, but
I don't understand it either.
it's a
It's a
mess.
mystery to me.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
kind of like
mystery and a
their own
mess.
Democrat dividing and gerrymandering of the
Right.
state of Illinois.
Right. It's trying to stop the Republicans because they're scared. They know we're coming in 2022 with a vengeance, and they know we're coming for keeps, and they're scared. And so, well, I appreciate. So what I do is on my podcast is the last couple minutes, which that's what we're running on. Is I open it up for any questions. So if there's any questions for Jacqueline about Charlie, now's your chance to ask on here. I'm making sure that it's up. My comments are up. I can see them. Let's see. Okay. I don't see any comments right now, but there sometimes after the show there is some. So if there are any, I will get them to Jacqueline for
I'd
Charlie.
be willing to answer anything.
Yeah, Jacqueline, she's ready to talk. She's ready to promote Charlie. She's been promoting Charlie over Esther Joy King. Guys, this is important. In 2022, we have to get the right Republicans in office. We have to get the right patriots in these seats to where the people hold the seats back in Illinois. And that's what we're trying to do. People like Charlie and myself and a couple of Republican governors in the race, whether it be Darren Bailey, Gary Rabine, Paul Schimpf, Christopher Roper, they're all running. So we're trying to get the best people in that we can. And petitions are starting on January 13th, if that's correct. I believe it is. And
Yes,
so
it is.
if you are in the 17th district, go find Charlie, sign his petition page, and get him on the ballot so he can battle Esther Joy King for the 17th district seat. And thank you, Jacqueline, for coming on to my show.
Thank you very much.
We're going to end tonight. Now, next week on Citizen Watch Where Your Voice Matters, we're going to continue with our actual roundtable that was supposed to be held tonight, but it's okay. People had a little more important things to do, as far as one of my guests was in Chicago trying to help a young gentleman with issues that we were talking about on the show. So it is important that people are, doing the groundwork. They've got their boots on the ground and they're ready to make changes. So I appreciate all you guys for coming. We'll see you next week, Monday at 7:30 at Citizen, where your voice matters.
Thank you very much.